Dinner tables in the 1970s held more than food. They carried family traditions, show-stopping flavors, and even a bit of drama. Some of those dishes vanished quietly, but by the end of this video, you'll know 20 forgotten dinners we think deserve a comeback, and you just might spot the one your family used to fight over. Let's get started. Chicken cordon bleu. Chicken cordon bleu is an indulgent preparation of breaded chicken breasts rolled around ham and cheese. The name cordon bleu, which means blue ribbon in French, signals its reputation for quality. It is thought to have originated in Switzerland around the mid-20th century and soon found favor with American diners. The technique calls for flattening the chicken breasts, layering them with ham and Swiss cheese, rolling them up, coating them in breadcrumbs, and then frying or baking until the exterior turns a golden brown. Its rise in popularity in the United States was helped greatly by the appearance of gourmet frozen dinners in the 1970s, where it became a go-to because it held up well to freezing and reheating. Frequently seen at formal dinners and special gatherings in the 1960s and 1970s, it was celebrated for a crisp outer crust that sheltered a rich, gooey, savory center. Eggplant Parmesan. Eggplant Parmesan is a robust Italian-American classic made by layering breaded crispy eggplant slices with marinara sauce and cheese. This meatless favorite traces back to southern Italy, where it is known as melanzane alla parmigiana, and arrived in the United States with Italian immigrants in the late 19th and early 20th centuries. The traditional method involves slicing the eggplant, breading and frying the slices until they reach a golden brown, then arranging those crisp pieces in layers with marinara and a generous amount of mozzarella or parmesan. The assembled dish is baked until the cheese melts and bubbles. Eggplant parmesan became a mainstay in meatless meal customs, especially during the Lenten season among Catholic families in America, and it secured its place on menus at Italian-American restaurants through the 20th century. It is often accompanied by a side of pasta or bread to complete the meal. Stuffed pork chops. Stuffed pork chops are a cozy classic, packed with a savory mix and often finished under a rich, dripping gravy. The dish won American hearts in the mid-20th century, especially in the Midwest and the southern states. The method begins by cutting a pocket into pork chops and filling them with a stuffing of breadcrumbs, onions, celery, and herbs. After stuffing, the chops are browned until they develop a golden crust, then baked until tender. A favorite at family dinners and Sunday roasts, its filling, hearty nature made it beloved. Stuffed pork chops also showcase pork's versatility, accepting a range of fillings from apples to mushrooms so everyone can adjust it to their taste. Moussaka. Moussaka is a layered Greek casserole that pairs slices of eggplant with ground meat and a creamy bechamel sauce. Though it has Middle Eastern roots, its modern form was refined by Greek chef Nikolaos Salamentes in the early 20th century. Making moussaka involves frying eggplant slices, layering them with a spiced meat mixture traditionally using lamb or beef, and covering the assembly with a luscious bechamel. Once put together, it is baked until the top turns an inviting golden brown, delivering deep, developed flavors. Moussaka became a hallmark of Greek cuisine and reached American tables in the mid-20th century, often served with a side salad or bread for a satisfying meal. Veal Parmigiana. Veal Parmigiana carries Italian-American heritage to the table, featuring breaded veal cutlets covered in tomato sauce and melted cheese. It originated in the kitchens of Italian immigrant communities in the United States as an adaptation of traditional Italian dishes to American tastes. This version, which first appeared in the early 20th century, swapped eggplant for veal and quickly became a staple in Italian-American cuisine. The preparation calls for breading veal cutlets, pan-frying them, topping with marinara and a generous sprinkling of mozzarella or parmesan, then baking until the dish is bubbling and golden. It reached its height of popularity in the 1950s and 1960s, commonly served alongside pasta to create a hearty, satisfying meal. Saumonière. Sole Meunière is a delicate, refined French classic made from tender fish fillets, lightly dusted with flour, sautéed in butter, and finished with a spritz of lemon. The name Meunière refers to the traditional French technique used to prepare it. It first won widespread favor in France in the early 20th century, quickly becoming a staple in upscale dining. Julia Child's enthusiastic endorsement after she enjoyed it as her first memorable meal at Le Roux restaurant in 1948 West helped propel the dish to global fame and fueled her enduring devotion to French cooking. The fillets are cooked until golden, then dressed with a simple sauce of butter, lemon, and parsley. Often paired with vegetables or potatoes, the dish provides a light, refreshing meal that highlights the fish's subtle flavors. Crab Louis, often called the king of salads, is a West Coast American classic that emerged in the early 20th century. Its precise birthplace is debated. Some attribute it to the Palace Hotel in San Francisco, others to Salazar's restaurant in Seattle. But it consistently features Dungeness crab, hard-boiled eggs, asparagus, tomatoes, and a creamy dressing made from mayonnaise, chili sauce, and spices. The San Francisco Chronicle crowned it the king of salads in 1914, acknowledging its luxurious ingredients and appeal to well-to-do diners. It gained popularity through the 1920s and 1930s, becoming a go-to for lighter dinners or luncheons. The combination of crisp lettuce, savory crab, and tangy dressing, often presented elegantly, made it a staple at fine restaurants and social events. Chicken divan emphasizes comfort. Chicken and broccoli bathed in a creamy cheese sauce and baked until perfect. It began in the early 20th century at the Devon Parisian restaurant in New York City, named for the very establishment that created it. Originally intended to showcase the chef's mastery of French techniques, chicken divan rose to prominence in the mid-20th century as a dish that married refinement with homey simplicity. To prepare it, layer cooked chicken and broccoli in a baking dish. Pour over a sauce made from butter, flour, cream, and cheese. Then bake until the top is golden and bubbling. The result celebrates the meeting of French culinary artistry and American comfort cooking, producing a genuinely delightful dish. Veal Marsala. Veal Marsala is a refined Italian plate featuring tender veal cutlets simmered in a rich Marsala wine sauce, with roots in Sicily where Marsala wine has been produced since the 18th century. The dish became popular in Italian-American homes in the mid-20th century. The traditional approach lightly dusts the veal with flour, then pan-fries the cutlets in butter until they take on a beautiful brown. The pan is deglazed with Marsala wine, mushrooms are added, and sometimes cream joins the mix to form a sauce that balances sweet and savory. As Italian restaurants in America began to highlight regional specialties, veal Marsala emerged as a sophisticated choice, often paired with pasta or potatoes to complement the tender veal and its robust Marsala sauce. Salmon Kulibiak. Salmon Kulibiak is a lavish preparation, a salmon fillet wrapped in puff pastry together with rice and mushrooms. It comes from Russia, where kulibiak refers to a type of richly filled pie. The classic assembly places a seasoned salmon fillet atop a bed of cooked rice and mushrooms, then encases it in puff pastry that bakes to a flaky golden finish. This dish found favor on the banquet tables of European royalty and appears in several Russian novels. It was celebrated in France during the 19th century and became a go-to for special occasions. Salmon kulibiak is typically served alongside vegetables or a light salad. The combination of fillings inside the pastry yields a refined, satisfying dish that bridges Russian heartiness with French subtlety. If one of these made a surprise return to your dinner table tonight, what would you say? And who in your family would light up or roll their eyes? Tell us the dish and the memory it recalls. Lamb Navarine. Lamb Navarine is a classic French stew that evokes spring, filled with tender lamb and seasonal spring vegetables. With roots in Normandy, this preparation shines when its components are at their freshest, which is why it is typically made in the spring. The name navarin comes from the French word for turnip, navette, a key vegetable in this robust stew. The method begins by browning the lamb, then slowly simmering it with turnips, carrots, onions, and potatoes in a savory broth until every element is soft and infused with flavor. Lamb navarin captures the spirit of spring, balancing the richness of the meat with the sweet, bright notes of the fresh vegetables. It is often accompanied by crusty bread or served with a side of rice, making it a comforting, complete meal. Coquille Saint-Jacques. Coquille Saint-Jacques is an elegant preparation of scallops baked in a creamy sauce, frequently presented in their shells. Its charming name, which translates to St. James's shells, references St. James, the patron saint of pilgrims, and alludes to the pilgrimage to Santiago de Compostela in Spain. To make it, scallops are gently sautéed in butter and then immersed in a sauce made from white wine, cream, and shallots. A final scattering of breadcrumbs tops the dish before baking until the surface takes on an inviting golden brown. This course highlights the scallop's delicate, sweet qualities, lifted by the rich creaminess of the sauce. Coquille Saint-Jacques has long appeared on celebratory menus, prized for its refined and sophisticated presence. Steak Diane. Steak Diane is a famous preparation of tender beef steak finished in a luscious cognac sauce, sometimes flambéed tableside for dramatic effect. Developed in mid-20th century America, the dish bears the name of the Roman goddess Diana. Preparation involves pan-frying a beef tenderloin and creating a sauce from the pan juices combined with cognac, butter, mustard, and Worcestershire sauce. Adding a flambé brings out the sauce's deep flavors in a striking way. Steak Diane's appeal was amplified by that dramatic cooking, often turning the tableside spectacle into the highlight of dining at upscale New York City establishments, like the Drake and the Sheraton Netherland, where famous patrons frequently ate. Believed to have originated in New York City in the 1950s, it rapidly became a fixture of luxury dining. It was commonly accompanied by mashed potatoes or vegetables, capturing the refined style of mid-century meals. Duck à l'orange. Duck à l'orange is a classic French preparation that matches roasted duck breast with a lively, tart orange sauce. Its well-established history goes back to the 19th century, and it was popular among French aristocrats. The duck is usually roasted so the skin becomes crisp, while the sauce is made by reducing orange juice and stock with a touch of Grand Marnier or Cointreau. By the 1970s, it had come to symbolize elegant dining, frequently chosen for formal dinner parties and fine restaurants. The pleasing contrast between the rich, savory duck and the bright citrus sauce creates a memorable taste that reflects the dish's aristocratic French roots. Careful technique and polished presentation make duck à l'orange a genuine gastronomic classic. Shepherd's pie. Shepherd's pie is a comforting casserole of ground meat and vegetables, finished with a layer of mashed potatoes. Originating in the United Kingdom in the late 18th century, the name shepherd indicates the traditional use of lamb, distinguishing it from cottage pie, which uses beef. The usual method involves sautéing ground lamb with onions, carrots, and peas, then spreading a smooth topping of mashed potatoes and baking until it browns on top. Shepherd's pie was a common meal in British and American households throughout the 1970s, valued for its hearty, warming qualities. It became especially popular in colder months, serving as a satisfying family dinner that combined layered textures and familiar flavors. Chicken Kiev. Chicken Kiev is a bold dish built from chicken breasts filled with herbed butter and coated in a crisp breadcrumb shell. Its origins are disputed. Some trace it to French chefs in the early 19th century, while others credit a Ukrainian cook working in a Moscow kitchen in the early 20th century. Whatever its true birthplace, Chicken Kiev rose to international notice around the mid-20th century and became a popular choice for dinner parties and special occasions. The classic preparation calls for pounding the chicken breasts thin, tucking in a blend of butter, garlic, and herbs, then rolling, breading, and frying them until golden. When you cut into one, the butter spills out, creating a rich, flavorful sauce. By the 1960s, the dish was firmly established on American menus, commonly accompanied by vegetables or rice. Turkey tetrazzini. Turkey tetrazzini is a creamy, comforting baked pasta that brings together turkey, mushrooms, and parmesan in a golden topping. It was created by chef Ernest Arbogast at the Palace Hotel as an homage to the Italian opera singer Luisa Tetrazzini, and is believed to have originated in San Francisco in the early 20th century. The recipe starts by sautéing turkey and mushrooms, then combining them with a silky sauce made from butter, flour, milk, and chicken broth. That creamy mixture is folded into cooked spaghetti, sprinkled with parmesan, and baked until bubbly and browned. Turkey tetrazzini became a staple of American comfort food, prized for turning leftover turkey into a hearty post-Thanksgiving favorite. Veal Oscar. Veal Oscar is an indulgent plate of breaded veal cutlets crowned with crab meat, asparagus, and hollandaise sauce. The dish was named for King Oscar II of Sweden, who was noted for his appreciation of fine dining, and it was developed in the late 19th century. King Oscar II's enthusiasm for the arts and gourmet food helped spread Swedish culinary influence abroad and inspired dishes like this one. He was a devoted lover of good food and a supporter of the arts, and he inspired this opulent preparation. The classic method calls for breading and frying veal cutlets, then placing sautéed crab meat and steamed asparagus on top. The whole is finished with a rich, creamy hollandaise sauce, resulting in an indulgent, luxurious plate. Veal Oscar became a favorite in upscale restaurants and for special occasions, where its refined presentation was especially admired. By contrast, ham steak with pineapple offers a pleasing play of flavors, a grilled ham steak crowned with a juicy pineapple ring. This straightforward, attractive dish rose to popularity in the United States in the mid-20th century, becoming an easy, dependable choice for weeknight dinners. The technique is simple. Grill or pan-fry the ham steak until it develops a good brown crust. Then, set a pineapple ring on top and sometimes a cherry for a celebratory touch. The sweet and savory pairing of ham and pineapple creates a distinctive, enjoyable bite, and is often served with sides such as mashed potatoes or green beans. Ham steak with pineapple makes for a satisfying, well-balanced meal. Surf and Turf, however, stakes a claim as the ultimate luxury dish by combining the best of land and sea. A tender steak paired with lobster. This creation arrived on the American dining scene in the 60s and quickly earned a reputation as the pinnacle of fine dining. There is some disagreement about who first assembled it, but it is most commonly associated with high-end steakhouses and seafood restaurants. The term surf and turf likely emerged during that period, neatly conveying the idea of an extravagant meal. A typical presentation features a tender beef steak, often a filet mignon, grilled to the desired doneness alongside a broiled lobster tail, usually served with melted butter and sometimes a lavish béarnaise sauce. In the 70s, the dish gained even greater prominence, especially at celebratory gatherings and in upscale establishments, becoming emblematic of the American appetite for unabashed luxury. The notion that placing two premium ingredients on a single plate was the height of indulgence. If you love the family stories tucked inside old recipes, please like, subscribe, and share this with the relative who always has notes about the menu. There's more delicious drama on the way.